Welcome to our clarity and focus session for today, or our focus and clarity session for today. At the end of the day, what we're trying to do is to keep some consistency to make sure that we're focusing on the important things of generating clients, changing or adjusting our message to actually match the market, to maximize the opportunity for our sales opportunities. But the number one goal that everybody has here that is jumping on here is to be able to bring, engage, and convert a customer, a paying customer for your business. So every day I've been hopping on, sharing a whole bunch of tactical things, strategies, to help you to go and apply a lot of these things. Some of you have been regulars. Those who are watching the videos or the replays, thank you for doing so. At the end of the day, the real critical factor of any business is, what are we doing to acquire a lead? What are we doing to nurture a lead into an appointment opportunity? How do we convert that appointment opportunity into a sale, a client? Then making sure that we deliver our service to the client so we give them a great or an outstanding result. And then from there, we want to be able to resell, to retain, to resell and upsell that client to other services we provide. So ultimately, these are the 5 core functions of any business, but these are the 5 core functions of our marketing business, our digital marketing business. So at each time or each area that you're looking at, you need to think about, what are we doing what are we doing from lead generation? What are we doing from lead nurture? What are we doing to convert, to improve our conversions of sales? What are we doing at a deliverable point of view? What do we do to retain those customers, to keep them paying for our services, or more importantly, invest in more of the services that we offer to the marketplace? So let's get into today's session. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to be here. All right, so I'm going to hit that button up here. So again, welcome. So this idea they're going to talk about is called problem solution selling, right? Problem. Now, these are 3 separate words, right? Problem / solution / selling, based on problem solution selling. So the concept is that if we can define what the problem is, we can actually solve the outcome for the client. So what I want to share is 2 of my champions. I got a phone call last night. It was like 7 o'clock my time. Simon, one of my consulting champions, calls me up and says, "Dude, we just closed a $120K deal, and we got a $60,000 deposit up front." 60 grand up front. Now, the reason why they got 60 grand up front is because they asked for the 60 grand up front, right? They said, "Great, half down now, and the rest we pay on time." So 60 grand down, 5 grand per month. Then on top of that, a $35,000 website. And on top of that, 5 $5,000 landing pages. 5 $5,000 landing pages on top of that. So another 25 grand, right? And plus 35, so it's another 60. So this deal is a $180,000 deal. $180,000 deal. It didn't take very long to close. It took about 3 or 4 weeks to actually close the deal. So it wasn't very long. But here they have a client paying 60 grand. So it's, he writes here in the post, in the Facebook post, clients are still investing in marketing, my friend. People are still spending money on your services. And we've seen that. I shared a demonstration of that with you yesterday, with all the results that our champions have been getting. And I know we've got a few people here, Mark and a number of others, Tanya, and a whole bunch of people who join us here on the regular daily sessions, for closing deals in the middle of this lockdown and this craziness. And we are about to head out of this lockdown and craziness into people getting back into work, kids are going back to school, families are getting back on track into the marketplace. So the cash in the economy is going to start to stream back in the economy. All these people have been sitting at home making lists of all the things they want to fix and do and have done. The renovation market is going to go through the roof. The work from home market is going to go through the roof. The ability to manage your teams remotely are also going to be a critical part of how businesses grow in the future. So understand that right now there is a ton of money in the market. The number of people that I'm speaking to that are super busy, right, are a lot. Like in the marketing game, there are a lot. We've got another couple of our champions, Kevin and Scott. They 8 clients, 8 roofing clients last month in April. 8 clients. That's 2 clients a week for roofing deals, right? So there is plenty of money in the market. Let me tell you, there's still a lot of businesses know that they need to get their online stuff together. So this idea that I'm just going to share with you today is something that I do I sit down and I think about the clients I work with, or the prospective customers that I work with, and what are their problems, what are the challenges that they face in the market, right? So the first thing I got to do is, what do we do to help, right? So for example, we might be Facebook ads, lead management for contractors, right? We do Google ads for financial planners, right? We do sales automation for office equipment companies, okay? We do automated marketing campaigns for IT. That should be IT services firms. Let me just fix that for this presentation. That should be IT services firms, right? So that's what we, let's just go back to that. So that's what we do, right? Sales funnels and conversion rate optimization for e-commerce businesses, right? And I've spelled e-commerce wrong. How's that? How's that? E-commerce. Look at that. It helps if you do spell check when you put these things together. So let's get this thing, right? So there is a thing that we do, right, in the market. Somebody's doing a chit chat here. What are you saying? It's Australian. Thanks, James. Yeah, it's us Aussies. We don't know how to spell. But understand, if we're really clear about what we do and who we help, right, then we've got to marry our solution to the problem that the market actually has, right? So for example, let's just go to the next slide. This is one of my favorite things to do, especially even when I'm sitting down with clients and thinking about their customers and why their customers need help. So the idea is to instantly know your market, and it's a really simple methodology. I think this comes from Dan Sullivan from Strategic Coach. So it's just a matrix for what are the frustrations, what are the wants, what are the fears, and what are the aspirations of our customers. Now, the reason why this is really powerful is because if we get this right, this can formulate our messaging, our outreach, cold email, Facebook ads, marketing campaigns, our display network campaigns, our sales pages, sales letters. This becomes the cornerstone of our messaging in the marketplace. And remember, right now, we're in the time of a little bit of uncertainty, ambiguity, and complexity and volatility in the market. So people are really scared, right? A lot of people are thinking, I'm going to keep my business open. I'm going to try and hang on to my employees so that we can serve the market. We want to keep the business growing. We'll be back into work. Got to move forward. Start things, getting back to some level of normal, right? So that's where people's heads are at. So for them, it's like cash flow. That's a frustration right now. We've got to get cash flow into this business, which means we've got to sell our products or services. Now, maybe our products or services are not something that are desired in the market. So what do? Do we pivot? Do we change? What do we do? What is the frustration right now? I'm going to walk you through an example of this in just a moment when we talk about a market, right? But then I'll also answer your questions as we go through. So what are the frustrations, right? Right now, okay, not enough cash flow, right? That's a big frustration. So to do that, if cash flow is a frustration, right? Think about frustration on our left and wants on our right. So right now we need cash flow. Right? We need cash flow. So to generate cash flow in, right? The alternative is we've got to make a direct offer, right? What if we could actually make a direct offer to our existing clients to generate an injection of cash flow sales right now? So we go from not enough cash flow to having a very quick solution. What if we crafted a compelling offer to go directly to people who already know you, make an offer directly, like a VIP special offer to them to generate cash flow for your business. So we go from frustration of cash flow to a want. Imagine putting cash in bank in the next 30 days by making a direct offer to your valuable customers so that they can invest, take advantage, and also save money, but at the same time putting cash in your bank account. From frustration to want, right? What is another frustration? Not enough. Right now, referrals are dropping. We don't get enough referrals, right? So if you're not getting enough referrals, what if we actually gave you direct access to customers in your market? So we go from, hey, relying heavily on referrals and not really getting a lot of referrals, to imagine having direct access to exact customers that are putting up a hand who are interested in your product or service in the marketplace. What if we could devise a system to engage that type of customer so we can go directly to that customer and not have to rely heavily upon referrals? How would that work for you? Oh, that sounds like a great idea, right? So from frustration to want, right? Another frustration that people might have in the marketplace might be too much competition, a lot of competition. So we're having a few price wars, right? So if there's lots of competition in the marketplace and we're having people who are pushing margin on price, The what would be, you know, what if we actually made you first choice? What if they came to you first before they saw anybody else? That you got the first crack of the cherry. So we can go from worrying about the competition to being the first choice for your product or service for a buying customer in the marketplace. So from frustration to want, to desired outcome, right? So understand that if we know what the big problems are, we need to list them out. And one of the ways to find these problems, we need to ask lots and lots of questions, right? Do a bit of research. Do, you know, what's going on in certain industries. Like there's so much information right now that's coming out from industry bodies right now that are telling you all the problems that are going on right now in the market, right? Cash is a problem, losing employees, not being able to pay rent, all that, you know, what's the pressures that are happening on business right now. Now, if you look at from frustrations to fears in the bottom left-hand corner here, if the frustrations keep happening, what is the fear? What is the thing that's going to happen if you don't solve these problems, right? So if we don't solve the problem of cash flow, what's going to happen? We're going to have to lay people off. We're going to perhaps maybe have to shut down. We might have to see if we can move this business online. We're going to have to cut our margins. I might have to go and get a job and work for the competition, right? I'm out, shut down, I failed, right? Fear, right? So if these frustrations are going to keep happening, what are the consequences? What are the fear consequences? Because fear is a very big motivating or buying motivating factor. Fear is a big motivator in terms of a buying factor, right? For people, right? Fear is a motivator. Avoid pain, gain pleasure. If we can avoid pain, we will do anything we can to avoid pain. If we can gain pleasure, we will go and buy and gain pleasure. So what are we doing? What is the fear? So from frustration to fears, right? So if these problems keep occurring, what's going to happen? Not enough clients, not getting results or bad delivery, not being the first choice in the market, lots of competition, being forced by price shoppers or tire kickers, right? So if you get a lot of tire kickers, what if we could turn the tire kickers into converted sales? So from a frustration, let me help you turn all those tire kickers into sales. Would you like me to show you how we get the tire kickers to buy from you and generate money? So from frustration to what, right? So frustrations keep going. What are the fears? We need to know. Right now, if you're not doing these things, this is the consequence. You can talk about that. You can write about that. Now, on the other side, aspirations, if we've got the cash flow going, if we made you first choice, if you had a way to become visible, if we could create a predictable cadence of revenue that you can rely on consistently that is actually going to grow and add value to the business, what's going to happen in your business? Well, it's going to grow. We're going to employ more people. We're going to expand to multiple locations. We're going to have the lifestyle. We're going to buy the jet skis, get the Mercedes-Benz, right? Take that holiday that I've been promising my family for years. The wants to the aspirations, right? So these are the things that people want to go towards. So the idea is, what is the consequence, right? The two bottom ones is the consequence, the outcomes of those two top bits as you know, what the message is portraying. So frustrations turn into fears, wants turn into aspirations, right? So if we know what the problems are, then we can lead with a problem, right? I just had a conversation with one of our champions. He has a fantastic app that allows restaurants to take orders on a Facebook group, right? The biggest problem is a lot of restaurants are paying Uber Eats and Aragon and a whole bunch of other ordering services. 35% of the cost of the takeout is going to that service, right? Plus whatever the delivery fee is. So their margins are being squeezed by the delivery companies. So they're actually not making any money. In fact, what it ends up doing is they're either breaking even, or in some cases they're losing money because they're giving away so much of that profit. Well, if there was a system where you didn't have to pay those people that money and you could keep all the money, but you can still get all the orders, would that be something that will be useful to you, right? So the problem is right now you're paying a ton of money to Uber Eats and a ton of money to all the delivery drivers, right? Or all the delivery services. They take 30% clip. What if you could keep 30%? If I could show you how to keep the 30%, right, and so you're making the profit, would that be cool for you, right? That is the easiest pitch on the planet. If that's a problem right now, if your problem is that you're using those services, Deliveroo and Uber Eats, and you're paying 35%, what if we could get you the 35%? Can I show you how we can do that? boom, we've got an opportunity. We go from frustration, I'm shelling out a lot of commissions. Instead, no more commissions, I get to keep the money. From frustration to want. Perfect example of that scenario occurring, right? So next, top problems for a contractor. So let's look at some of the problems, right? One, phone's quiet, right? Not enough phone calls. We don't get enough phone calls. We don't get phone calls. We don't get jobs, right? So our phones are quiet, right? Number two, the competition is driving down the price. We've got guys there. We charge a $100 show up service fee. Our competition does free service fees, right? We charge, we have premium pricing. Our competition always undercuts for pricing for these products in the marketplace. So competition is driving the price down the price, right? So this is a pain in the butt, right? People can't find us, right? We've got the website, we've got the whole thing, but for some reason, we're not the ones getting the phone calls, or we're not being found, right? We have three key problems, 1, 2, 3 in the market. So here's the thing. Number one, what if we create a campaign that'll get you 50 calls per day, 200 calls per month, right? If we can get 50 calls a day, right? It's 250 calls a week. That's 1,000 calls a month. If we've got 1,000 calls a month, how cool would that be, right? How many sales do you think you'll make? Oh, we get lots of contracts, right? Okay, so we go from frustration, our phones are quiet, to our phones are really busy, right? What if we made your business first choice in the market? What if we got the customer to you first before they saw anybody else, and you had a process you take them through to help them get what they want based on the service you provide? Would that be useful to you if you were the first choice as opposed to somebody else? That would be useful, right? Problem, competition, no competition, first choice, right? What if you make you visible on local maps and search to make it easy to find you as opposed to a competitor? What if we actually showed people you are open for business? What if we actually demonstrate some images, some videos of the befores and afters of the service that you provide to give people some context to choose you first in the market, to actually see you or make you visible in your local market? Would that be helpful to help people find you, right? So what are the question I've got to ask, and we can use these as some as examples. The question I'm asking is, what is the problem? What are the problems that are keeping your market up at night? What are the things that are stopping them, that are worrying them right now in relation to growing their business? This idea, because what I can do is I can craft my campaign like, listen, if your phones are quiet right now, what if we had a strategy to get 50 phone calls a day? Would you be interested in looking at that, right? If right now there's lots of competition in your market, there's going to be a lot of crazy deals out there in the market. What if we make you first choice? Would it be interesting if we could make you first choice over and above a competitor in the marketplace, right? People can't find it right now. What people don't know you're open. Are you accepting customers right now? Yes or no? Yes, we are. But right now, when I look for you, I can't find you. So if I made you visible to people who are looking for your product or service right now, would that be useful to your business? Yes, right? Problem, solution. The more clear you are about the problem, the more clear you understand the problem, better than they can, the easier it is for them to say yes to you. That's the deal, right? So I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to play this video for you. So if you imagine this was a landing page, right? So I started a software service in the stockbroking industry. This was a product that was called Winesta. This company, I actually sold this company on. So what Winesta was basically, actually, you'll hear the problem in the video. So I created this as a landing page. So I'm just giving an example, right? So it's a landing page. So how to oversubscribe your investment opportunities and attract seasoned interested investors, right? How to oversubscribe your investment opportunities and attract seasoned interested investors. So the problem is they never fully subscribed their IPOs. This was going to stockbroking firms. They never fully subscribed. Every offer they made was never fully subscribed. They would spend a lot of money on buying lead lists to actually sell their IPOs, their investment opportunities, right? But they never would fulfill it, right? They never close it. So I came up with the idea of what if we could actually follow up all the people on those lists and make sure that they were aware of the IPO and make sure they're aware that they can actually talk to an advisor or a broker to help them look at the types of parcels that they can invest into to take advantage of the investment opportunity. Right? So I'm going to play this video for you so you can, hopefully you're going to be able to see or listen to this video. It's not a very long one, but at the end of it, it was like book a call, right? Book a call. So this was in this example, I'm demonstrating this is what the problem is, this is what the solution is, and this is what the result is, right? So I will play the video.
This is John Logar, founder of Winesta.com. One of the biggest challenges that we found in the stockbroking firms and investment firms that we've been talking to is that you're leaving a ton of opportunities for sales and investments in your portfolios and in your IPOs that you release. The biggest challenge is that you're not being able to follow up the number of people who may have interest in your products and services, and you're trawling through leads in a very traditional manner. So what a lot of you are doing are buying those leads. You might buy 10,000 leads from a broker where the person has identified the fact that they're interested in investments, and you send out your prospectuses, and you may invite people to a seminar or an event or a dinner to promote your IPO or to promote the opportunity for investment. The challenge with that is you only have a certain number of people that you can actually deal with and actually convince or help people to make that choice that the fact that your investment is an ideal investment for them. What happens is that you're losing out on all those other people that didn't get to those events, didn't get to those seminars, but they haven't been able to ask the questions that they want to ask, or perhaps look at the opportunities that you're having in a more discerning way so that they feel like they're making the right choices in investing in your IPOs, investing in your products. So what we've done at Winesta is developed a service that actually automates the process of following up all those leads that you haven't had the opportunity to be able to talk to or to convince, or if you have had the opportunity to present, maybe to actually open the door for them to make a decision to actually go ahead and make that investment in your products and services. We've found that with even a conversion rate of as little as 0.5%, that we've added more than $1 million worth of investments by following up leads and old lists of investors for products and IPOs. The average IPO is always undersubscribed. It's very rare for an IPO these days or an investment product to be fully subscribed. It does take time. Those that are worthwhile definitely get those subscriptions. But a lot of IPOs aren't presented, or a lot of investment products aren't presented to their maximum opportunity, and so they're not subscribing fully. So what we've done is showing the way in which you can top up your subscriptions, or in some cases, more than double your subscriptions to your investments. If you're looking for a way to convert more sales for your investment opportunities, then I highly recommend that you click the button below, make a time with one of our consultants, and they can walk you through a very simple process of how you can automate your sales and at the same time making sure that you're generating more revenue more often for the IPOs and the investment opportunities that you're sharing in the market. Thanks for listening. This is John Logar from Winesta.com. I look forward to working with your teams and working with your firms in the very near future. Keep an eye out for some of the information that we're sharing out there, but I highly recommend that you at least have a chat to us, because if you're looking to close more deals, then we've certainly developed a very simple strategy to make that a reality for you. Thanks for watching.
Okay, so I know you didn't see the video playing, but the video does play, but hopefully you heard the sound. If you did hear the sound, I just want to make sure. Did you hear just type 1 if you heard the sound, if you heard the audio. Awesome. Okay. So all we did in the video was highlight a problem. The problem that stockbroking firms were having is they're spending. So some of these guys had spent $16,000 to $20,000 just buying a list, and sometimes they're spending more. Sometimes they'll spend, $30,000, $40,000 buying a list of investors. They would launch an IPO. They would do an event. People would come to the event. They would share their prospectus. Some of those people would buy the passes when they launched the IPO. It was a really bad strategy. They'd still make lots of money, but they would leave so much money on the table. So I basically went to a stockbroking firm and said, listen, you're leaving a ton of money on the table right now. If we could actually convert like 0.5%, that's going to be $1 million worth of investment based on an average investment portfolio. And that adds another $50,000 in commissions, right, for your guys just by pressing the button. If I could show you how to press the button and get those commissions, will that work for you? Now, every single person I shared that idea with said yes, because right now you're spending all this money, you're dumping all these lead lists, but you never do any follow-up because your guys are on the phone banging, talking to the ones that are ready to go, and they don't have time to follow anybody else up. But if we can drive the appointment back to that phone guy so that he's got more people to talk to, more people to close for those IPOs, then you go make more commissions. And the number one thing that drives the crap out of you is transactions, right? So more transactions, more commissions. If you sell, you make money. If you buy, you make money, right? So if we can bump that up by 0.5%, that's an extra $50,000 worth of cash. Now, if every broker adds $1 million right? And you got 20 brokers, right? Well, there's $1 million worth of cash you bring into the business. So that was the pitch. The pitch was, or the problem was, right? Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. The problem was they just weren't converting their deals. They thought they were doing great by taking a piece of their deals, right? But what we went in, we sat and said, listen, you're leaving so much cash on the table. If we can just plug them into this system, right? And then drive the person back to the broker, and now they're on the phone with the person who's interested in the IPO, right? You got a 50-50 chance of doing a deal, yeah? And these people who we're getting on the phone are already seasoned, interested investors. So if we can get them to the point of getting on that phone, they are actually interested in the IPO. Ultimately, that's what you're after, isn't it? They go, yeah, that's brilliant, right? The first time we ran a campaign, they added more than $1 million worth of extra sales. The very first time, it took them 3 days to add $1 million in sales. They were like over the moon. They thought, this is crazy, crazy, crazy good, right? It was so good that they ended up buying the company, right? So understand that we go from problem to solution. By the way, we got a lot of appointments. We made, off this little strategy, we made 30 sales, right? Our fee was a 30 grand upfront plus 6,000 a month. 30 grand up front and 6 grand a month. So add the numbers, right? You can see how well this worked. So, where we go? This is another example. This is for Breakthrough. We did it for Breakthrough. So notice the headline says, direct access patients for your practice guaranteed. Direct access patients for your practice guaranteed. Now, I'm not going to play the video, but it's just me standing up in front of a screen. The screen doesn't move, but it's just me talking about saying right now you heavily rely upon referrals. You're not getting, right now referrals are diminishing more than 50%. If the referrals are diminishing by more than 50%, that means you have to bridge the gap, or you have to fill that gap that is being lost by your practice. So instead of relying on those referrals, what if I gave you direct access to patients guaranteed, right, in the market? So you don't have to rely on referrals anymore. You can go direct. You can actually build a cadence of way more patient structure than you can if you rely on referrals. So if you want to know how to do that, book a time in my calendar, right? Breakthrough practice strategy session, right? So the problem was no referrals were diminishing. The solution was, let me fill that up with direct asset patients so you don't have to rely on referrals. If we can eliminate the reliability on referrals, or make referrals the cream of your revenue and go direct and bolster your opportunities, then you'd want to know about it, right? So same thing, right? Problem, solution, right? Problem, solution as part of the strategy, okay? So I used to make a joke, right? This is just a focus thing, right? I used to sit there and say, hey, I only work half a day, 5 days a week. This is what I say to people. I only work half a day, 5 days a week. However, I just get to choose whichever 12 hours that is, right? I get to choose whichever 12 hours, whether I'm doing 5 days, half a day in the morning or during the day, or half a day in the evening. I choose to work half a day a week. The focus, or the reason I share this with you, is most people aren't doing enough. They're not working enough in their business to leverage their opportunities. A lot of people are focusing on the wrong things. A lot of people are spending too much time trying to get things together. I get emails from people saying, hey, I'm just trying to get my website and trying to get my offer, and I'm trying to da-da-da. And I'm like, hey, you know, there are people right now who don't have all of that, and they're selling in the marketplace, right? Don't be the duck, be the do. Right now, we have to be a do. We have to be out there making our offers and building those relationships, right, to maximize our opportunity for generating sales. So with that, I want to answer your questions. I'm going to stop the share here. We're going to go back here. Anybody got any questions? Chris, Breakthrough is an agency that I'm part of, that I work very closely. We have taken that business to 30, I think they're doing about 30 million revenue per year. We did that in 5 years. Over $30 million in revenue in 5 years from scratch. That's pretty cool. With 2 or 3 different strategies. So yeah. So the problem in that market, in the PT market, is referrals are dropping. So the way to supplement that market is to have direct access to patients. That's how we did that. So any other questions? Happy to answer your questions. I'm here. We're going to help Tanya. Good to see you here. Chris, lots of Chris's. Eric, good to see you here. George K, always good to see you here. Julie, Nice to have you here. Mark, as always, congratulations on your 5 sales. Tim Berry, good to see you. Zaf, any questions? Any questions about anything? Offers, situations? So Tanya, have you met any? Have I met any deers? Yes, I've met a lot of deers, Tanya. Like, if we're okay, so Tanya, thank you for bringing this up, because this is something that happens to a lot of people, right? How many people here feel a little bit of overwhelm? How many people are overwhelmed here? Just type in 1 if you've got a little bit of overwhelm happening. Just type 1, because I want to share with you. We've got some days, yep. 1. Chris says big time overwhelmed. Yep. Okay. All right, we've got a few people here who are overwhelmed. So if we find ourselves in an overwhelming situation, what happens is we end up stopping. Like all of a sudden, so here's a couple of things that get us into the overwhelmed scenario. First of all, too many good things to work on. Lots of projects, lots of ideas, can't get any traction, wheels spinning, right? The second thing that overwhelms us is bright and shiny objects. Bright and shiny object syndrome will overwhelm you. Because what happens is you watch one idea, one tactic, then you'll go, oh, there's another idea and another tactic. Go, oh, there's another idea and another tactic. There's another webinar. There's another training. There's another, thing to do, right? There's another thing to do. Bright and shiny object syndrome is a very real thing. In fact, it's almost debilitating, because what happens is you've got too many competing ideas, and then it's like, how do I see that idea through, right? How do I see that idea through? So there's a couple of things I will say on overwhelm and the bright and shiny object syndrome. So let's deal with the bright and shiny object syndrome. James says, yeah, too much information. Yeah, so here's the thing. Start going through a period where you minimize your interaction with information, with learning. Right? If you take something, like I've said, every train that I've done, every workshop that we do every day, because I'm showing every day, right? I may be a contributing factor to overwhelming ideas, right? Too many competing ideas. The idea is, and the reason why I'm doing this is trying to give you options. But the key thing that I want to ask you to do is to pick one thing. Pick one thing and see it all the way through. Don't stop until you get feedback on that one thing. One thing I will tell you, if you've been following me, like there's quite a few people who've been following me now for a month, right? You've been pretty much on every video, right? For those of you who've been following me, if you've been applying yourself, all of you should be generating cash. If you've been following the stuff that I've been telling you every day, I keep coming back to one thing. Grab one thing from here, apply the thing, follow it through. Pick one thing, one idea, one offer, one market, one engagement strategy, follow it all the way through, right? And then in each of the areas, you need to make your adjustment and your refinement. But if you try too many competing things, or you're trying too many things like, I've got 3 social media strategies to get out here, I've got to do this. No, that's going to confuse you. That's going to be messy. That's going to be, that's not going to give you a result. Right? Even me, so I'm just going to give you a perspective. Some people say, what's the day in the life? I'm working harder now than I've ever worked before, and there's a reason for that. Because the reason I'm doing that now is because we are in a time of extraordinary opportunity, right? Right now is the catalyst for major change in every industry. Every industry, every business, even your businesses, is a catalyst for change. There is a huge reckoning that's going to occur. There is a huge gap in the market that's going to be very visible and divisible. And we want to see that, right? So I know I'm sitting saying, I'm building my brands, I'm building up my companies, I'm spending money on advertising, I'm marketing the crap out of what I do. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm trying to build that momentum, because I know my payoff is going to be freaking astronomical over here down the track. It's going to be astronomical, right, down here, because of the energy and the focus that I'm putting in right now. But I am very, very clear, very focused on what I'm doing. That's why I'm getting results. And the same thing, you've got to be very clear and very focused on the objective at hand. Your focus, every single person here, is just to get to the next customer. One sale. The question you have to ask yourself every day is, what am I doing today to get that one sale? What is the one thing? So just type in, what is your one thing you're doing today to get one sale? Not to get 10, not to get 20, today. What did you do? What is the thing that you did to get one sale. Now, if you didn't do anything, what could you do tomorrow, right? One thing, this philosophy, the Japanese call Kaizen, right? What Kaizen is like the butterfly effect. The little things that you do eventually have this huge, profound impact in momentum. So the way Kaizen works, let's say I wanted to get into fitness and I want to get health and I want to get an exercise. So what you do is you set the alarm clock on and you wake up and then you go back to bed, right? That's day one. Right. Day two, the alarm clock goes off, you get up and you put your exercise gear on, then you take your exercise gear off and you go back to bed. Day three, you put your exercise gear on, get the alarm clock, go downstairs, have a glass of water, go back to bed. Day four, you step out the door, right? Day five, you walk to a next milestone. Day six, you keep going. Before you know it, you're running 5K. By day 30, you've got a 5K or a 5-mile run by day 30, right? Little steps all the way through, right? Chris says, what time do I go to bed? I normally hit the stack between 10 and 11 o'clock at night, and I'm back at 4 a.m. in the morning. So I'm one of these lucky people that work really well in the day. I tend to relax in the afternoons, right? But I get to choose whichever 12 hours I work, right? So understand that little things, right? So if we get overwhelmed, that means that we're off track. We're not focused on the important things. We're focused on a whole bunch. We get overwhelmed with too many things. So you need to pare back and say, hey, what's important here? You know, to answer your question, Tanya, what's important here right now? What is the most important thing that you need to do right now? And just make that a routine. That's all. Simple, simple, simple. You can be overwhelmed and crazy for the rest of the day, but for one moment in your time, you've got to go back into this. What's important? What do I need to do regularly to make this happen, right? What do I do to get this done? Yeah. Because at the end of the day, we're all in business here, and the primary function of business is to bring in revenue and customers and to serve, more importantly, to serve those customers and have those customers pay you. That's a primary function. So my question to you is, what are you doing to ask a customer to spend money with you? What are you doing right now as an activity, right? You know, James says, I did a program called Couch Potatoes to 5K and it worked in 6 weeks. So maybe, James, you need to do the Couch Potato program, because if it worked then, it'll work now, right? So, you know, Mark says, next action, now that I know my roundtable content works and my offer works, since we've got 5 sales, with only promoting inside of a Facebook group, we can go and test that with Facebook ads starting next week. Mark, just do that, right? Just test with Facebook ads. Or if you want to do a strategic alliance, right, then what you want to do is you want to go and do the same thing in somebody else's audience. That's another way to do it, Mark. But run the ads. The next step is get some ads going, right? Tanya says, well, Mark, right? Little steps, little incremental steps make huge, huge impact. So if we're overwhelmed, the number one reason we're overwhelmed is we've got too many competing ideas. We've got too many things that we're focused on. We're not actually focused on the things that are important. So we're distracted. So we need to sit there and go, you know what? Let's put that aside for a second. And let's just focus on the things that are really important right now. So Tanya, I'm going to ask you, for you, what's the most important thing you need to be doing right now? What's the most important thing that's going to contribute to the very thing that you desire to have, Tanya? What do you need to do? Just type in the chit chat. Yeah. Most important thing. Yeah, okay, that's great. That's going to generate lead opportunities for you. LinkedIn marketing using Globotol as a service provider. That's awesome. That's going to create some opportunities, right? What else? Are there any people you can follow up right now? People that you've spoken to in the last month or 2 months where they might have put you off or anything like that? Can you go and reconnect with those people, right? That's what I'd be doing. I know you follow up every day. So my question is, who's close, right? What can you do to maybe switch up the message, help them to make a decision now? What can you do, right? Think about it, right? Can we close the deal today? Tanya, that's all we want to do. If we can close the deal today, that's awesome. Yeah. That's the other question. Who can I speak to? Who can I make a direct offer to? A few days ago, we talked about those crazy offers. How many of those crazy offers have you followed up? Chris says, I need to organize all of those biz cards, connect with them. One challenge has been that we end up telling each other what we do and it stops there. I don't understand what that means, Chris, but I can see how that can have some impact in what you're doing. Yeah. So So that's the thing. What you focus on most becomes your reality. If you focus on overwhelm, guess what? You're going to be overwhelmed, right? Bright and shiny object syndrome. It takes discipline. Like I don't put on my phone. I actually delete Facebook on my phone, the app. I delete the app. And so what I have to do is, if I have to interact with Facebook, I have to actually download the app, open the app, do what I want to do, then I delete the app, right? Because I know that Facebook is a time suck. I try not to have Facebook on my tabs, right? I don't look at my email. I only look at my email twice a day. Once in the morning, once in the afternoon, that's it. Now I've got somebody else managing my email, so I don't have to worry about it, right? Because otherwise you're going to get caught up. I want to focus on my calendar. If my calendar has white spaces, I'm going to fill that calendar up with activity, right? I'm either going to go and get an appointment or go and do something to focus on that time to go and get an appointment. So you want to live in your calendar, not in your email and not in Facebook. Live in your calendar, not in your email. In fact, you should be living in your CRM. The dominant page that I have open in my business is either Salesforce or Pipedrive, my CRMs for my businesses. I'm either on Salesforce or I'm in Pipedrive, and that's my dominant page that I look at in my business. You should be living in your CRM, because your CRM is where your customers and your leads are. That's where you have to live every day. And if you're living in there every day, guess what? You're going to make a lot of sales, right? In Champions, we've got people doing 7, 8 sales in a month, right? We've got one person who's doing a sale a day, 1 sale per day, right? In the middle of all this bullshit that's going on, right? Why is that happening, right? Because that's where their intent and that's where the focus is. That's what they're doing. They're consistently focusing on the very thing that is important to their business, and that is to bring those clients in. Unless you're doing $1 million worth of revenue right now, right? Your only focus, 80-20 rule, 80% of your focus has to be in actively engaging and acquiring customers. That's where your focus is, 80%. 80%, 20% fulfillment. Now you can buy fulfillment. You can hire Globotel as your fulfillment partner. So there's your 20%. But 80%, you need to be having conversations, engaging, and bringing clients on board, right? That's what you need to be doing. So the key here every day, that little thing, is the question that we should ask ourselves is, what am I doing today to help a customer invest in my services? That's the only question we want to answer. Now, if whatever you're doing isn't contributing to that, then change what you're doing, right? So if we're overwhelmed, we need to sit down and think about, let's just get back to what's important and just do that. Tick that box before you do anything else, right? If you feel that you're in bright and shiny object syndrome and you think that that's helping you, or you think that consuming and learning a new thing is something that is supporting and helping you, then look at your bank account. Look at your bank account will tell you whether or not that's working, that strategy is working. If that bank account isn't moving because you're not contributing to it in your business, then you need to stop doing that. You need to stop consuming and start taking action and applying some of these things. What I've been trying to do over these days is to give you very, very simple, actionable things that you can do to get out into the marketplace. Simple things that work. Lots of these things that work, right? Lots of these things. I've had people on these webinars get results while we're on the webinars, right? Making appointments while we're on these webinars, yeah? So understand that you need to apply, test, get feedback, adjust, right? And move towards getting the outcome or the results you're looking to get, right? So here's the thing. At the end of the day, what you focus on the most is going to become your reality. If you're in overwhelm, then you need to stop. You need to take a breath for a moment, because it is hard and it is difficult and it is draining. You just need to step out and create a bit of a pattern break, right? Do something different. Go and jump in a swimming pool, whatever, right? In that moment, just stop for a moment and you need to take a breath. And in that breath, you sit there and go, you know what? And then what's important? What's the most important thing here? And everything else doesn't matter. And then what you're going to do is you're going to do that, do something, contribute to that important thing. That little thing, that step is going to change the trajectory and the momentum. And if you remind yourself every single day, and if you get into a routine, if you go and read a little bit for half an hour a day to stimulate your mind, if you take some time to breathe and oxygenate from what you do, and you sit there and say, hey, I'm just going to get to the next client. If your conversation with yourself or with your team is great, how are we going to get to the next sale? How are we going to get to the next sale? How do we get to the next sale? If you have that conversation every single day, right, I'll guarantee you're going to get to that sale, right? Because that's a reminder, because anything that you do outside of supporting you to get that outcome, you know you're not doing the thing you need to do, right? I've got here that I'm not even going to name names, but there are people here who've been on here every day who are giving me a whole bunch of bullshit excuses as to why they're not getting things done, right? I get it. That's your story. That's a story that people create, and that's a movie that people create. At the end of the day, you all know what you need to be doing. You all know, I know what I have to be doing, right? You know what you have to be doing. You just got to go and do it, right? The only thing that's stopping you is whatever story you've got in your mind that says that you can't have the thing that you say that you want. That's the only thing that's stopping you. So if it's just a story, then change the story. Reframe the story, right? Because there are people like, I just showed you at the beginning, Tracy and Simon, they're now at $600,000 worth of revenue, and they sell Facebook ads and email marketing. That's all they do, Facebook ads and email marketing. And 3 months ago, they were charging people $1,500 a month. Now they're charging people $10,000 a month for the same thing. Not for any less, they're not doing any less, but for the same thing, they're charging 10 grand. And clients love them because they do everything humanly possible to give their clients outstanding results. And because they're resourced, because they're paid at the level they should be paid for the service they provide, they can deliver great results because they can hire the best Facebook ad guy, right? Because they're being resourced enough to be able to give that client what they need in the market. And so right now, in the last 2 months, they've hired 6 people. 6 people have been hired in their business to help them to be able to leverage in their scaling. They're going to hit $1 million run rate from scratch from February to, I think they're going to do it by June. So that's what, February, March, April, May, 5 months. So imagine going from scratch to $1 million worth of revenue run rate in 5 months. Yeah. That's what's possible. I've seen people do that in 30 days. I've seen people do that in 30 days in our market, right? So understand that what you desire and the things that you want to build are all real. They're all real. I've demonstrated to you, shown you how people just like you are crushing it out there in the marketplace. They're no different to you. They're offering the same services that you offer, right? They're doing exactly the same things that I'm telling you all to do. And yet they somehow miraculously are able to consistently be clients in their business. So with that, I want to ask you a question now, right? What do you think you need to do? What's the most important thing you need to do right now? Just type it in the chat. Most important thing that you need to do right now to be able to get to your next paying customer, because that's the only thing that all of you need to be focusing on. If you're watching me or you're hopping on these trainings or you're watching the replay, the only question you have to answer is, what am I doing today to help a customer buy? That's it. So I'd love to know. Just type in the feedback. Let me know what you're doing to get a customer buy. Chris is doing phone calls. Yep, get on the phone. Get the emails out of my cold list, newly scraped. Also, get them out. Now you don't need to do 100 or 1,000 emails, Tanya. Just go and send out 20, and then at the end of the day, just pick up the phone and say, "Look, I just want to make sure you got the email. If you've got 60 seconds, you can let me know whether or not you want to continue the conversation. Is that fair enough?" And they go, "Yeah, this is what the email's about." Right? It's pretty simple. Mark says, "Continue what I'm doing." Absolutely, double down on what you're doing, Mark, because you made 5 sales. That's awesome. Chris says he's got to go calling. Yeah, you've got to follow. If you're giving people information, then follow the information. More email, more phone calls, more offers to teach. Awesome. Yes. Teach people what you know. Absolutely. What's staff doing here? Question. Spent yesterday searching the ENT specialists, cardiologists, marketing, found case studies online. SEO, PPC seems to be the strategy. Awesome. This profession is using to be found online and attract more patients. I was unable to find out how much it was priced. I'll guarantee the price points are going to be varied between $1,500 to $3,000 a month on average, with an ad spend, depending on how good they are, the ad spend is going to range between $1,500 to $3,000 a month. So that's just the price variation. My LinkedIn and website does not reflect the medical niche. Do I need to change this? No, just get a landing page. Just get a landing page, stick a video and say, this is how we help the medical market. That's it, landing page. Don't go building websites, minimum viable product, right? Go and get a copy paste, 1 page, unbounced page. This is what we do to help people. Headline, right? You might stick a video on it, or you might put a drawing, a workflow of what you do. Book a time with me. That's all you need. Don't go crazy on the website. Your website's not important. LinkedIn profile, LinkedIn summary, easy to do. Sit down, write the LinkedIn summary on how you help people. Don't turn the LinkedIn summary into a resume or a document that explains what you are. Explain how you help people, how you help them. All right, desired outcomes. That's what I would do on LinkedIn. Do I need to change this before going to market? No, you don't need to change it. Just go to the market. My important thing is going to the market. Story I tell myself is a trust issue. If people were looking for me online after our chats, okay. So yeah, if people, mate, they're not going to go looking for you online. If they do, then good luck, right? But the fact that you're starting the conversation or the relationship, that's what you want to be doing, Zaf. Just start the conversation. Say, hey, let's sit down. Let's work it out. You know, how do we help you do this? You know, you want to do this? Do you want to get more? Do you want to be visible? Do you want to do this? What if we actually sat down and showed you how that was possible? At the end of that, you can choose whether or not we go ahead and do that. It's a pretty simple offer, right? Do you prefer unbounce to funnel for landing pages? Chris, I couldn't care less what landing page I use. Thrive, Themes, Unbounce, Divi, whatever you want. Choose anything you want. I don't care. It's not really important. Landing page is a landing page. The most important thing on a landing page is what is the headline? What is the hook? The second thing is what is the creative that grabs the attention? Third thing is what is the one action that you want them to take on that landing page? Do you want them to fill in a form, download something? Do you want them to pick up the phone and call you? Do you want them to actually book a time in your calendar? Whatever the one thing, that's the only thing you want them to do on the landing page. Our team right now is working on a landing page. The only thing we want you to do on that landing page is to click the buy now button. And so guess what? We've actually put the buy now button on the page 13 times, right? 13 times. They can buy 13 at 13 scroll levels. Buy now, buy now, buy now, buy now, buy now. Because I want you to buy, right? So one action on your landing page. So I don't, platforms, I don't care. As long as it looks, at least professional. If you go back and watch the videos on the automated appointment funnel that I shared about a week ago, you'll see that the landing pages are really bare. All it is like a headline, and I've just shown you an example of one just now with the video with the breakthrough, right? Just boom, headline, video, my calendar. Make it simple, right? You don't need to do crazy things. So I don't care, Chris. Pick anything, it works. It's just a landing page. I don't have any preferences. But if you're going to do a landing page, then make sure you only have one call to action on it. Michael, note to all, got my first customer without a website. Isn't that interesting? Selling to a savvy business growth consultant. Answer, you don't have to have a website? No. Sorry, he said, okay, so he says you don't have a website. Don't need one, because I search out the customers I want to work with. Very simple, and everyone bought it. How cool is that? So I'll tell you a funny story. We built a web dev agency to $800,000 in the space of 10 months, and we didn't have a website. That's what we did. We built sites for people, but we didn't have our own website. We actually used to use demos of our clients' websites to promote what we did. So nobody could find us online. But we sold $800,000 of websites to people. And then what I did was I thought, well, we better put something up there. And so what we did was we put a thing launching now or launching soon. So we had a launching soon website for another 4 months before we actually built one. So for more than 12 months, we're a $1 million agency in the web development market, and we didn't have our own website. Yeah. Mark says it didn't stop me to get sales. Yeah, Mark says I don't have a website either. Now, that's not to say that a website's not important. It is, right? Because you have to have a place for people to find you. But ultimately, if you want to go and make sales, you don't need a website. So, any other questions? Happy to answer the questions. Question. Got a whole bunch of people here. It's good to see you here. Chris, Eric, George, good to see you here. James, as always. Julie Murr, do you have any questions, Julie? Any questions? I'll take another question. Otherwise, I'm going to say thank you for coming. I'm going to close this off and I look forward to seeing you on tomorrow's session. Same time, same back channel, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thanks, Tim. Appreciate you saying that. Great stuff as usual. If you know anybody, get them to consultingunleashed.com/go. We've actually just put up a new training in there. There's a new 6-video training series in there if you haven't gone there already. So go and jump into there, consultingunleashed.com/go. So other than that, thanks, James. Please get back on my calendar, James. When you book a time, there is a Zoom link, so it should be in there. So yeah, so with that, Tanya, did you make a call? Did you make a booking with me? I'm just making sure that you have a booking with me. I think you did. Yes, awesome, great. Looking forward to talking to you, Tanya. So with that, those of you, thank you. Yes. Okay, so thank you for being here. I hope you get a lot out of these sessions. If you know anybody else who should be here, please send them to the consultingunleashed.com/go link, and they'll be able to access the trainings on YouTube, but more importantly, they can jump in on these trainings and ask me questions personally like all of you can and all of you do. So I really appreciate you guys and girls hopping on here. I will be bringing you a whole bunch of other topics as we are speaking. It's almost like a topic a day. At the moment, it's getting a little bit crazy. We've been going for 36 days solid. That's 36 separate trainings that I've done in a row, which is absolutely crazy. I cannot believe that that's what's happening so far. So I'm going to keep it going. Going to be here for you if you need help. If you need my help, please jump on, and also make sure, please share those others who you know in the market who need to be here. Then it'll be great for them to, I guess, get the same opportunity to get some help. So with that, I want to thank you all for hopping on. I look forward to seeing you on the next training, which is at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time tomorrow. And it is at 8 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, which will be my Saturday, your Friday, or Saturday if you're in Australia. Look forward to seeing you there. Take care, everybody.